Last year, we asked the IMSA community different questions that related to gender. Here are some of the responses we gathered that students volunteered to read out. The first question we asked was, how would you define feminism?
Feminism is advocating for the rights and equality of females. I wouldn't define it as saying that females are better or more deserving than males, but rather equal to and given the same opportunity as them.
Feminism is an ideology that concerns itself with the concern of inequality of the female-to-male dynamic. It is concerned in leveling the playing field of man and woman.
I would define feminism as the movement to provide equal rights for everyone with an emphasis on female empowerment.
Feminism is striving for equality between all genders and multiple facets of society. This is included but not limited to economic opportunity, legal justice, how society views them, sexual and religious liberty, suffrage, and education.
Empowering women and fighting for equal opportunities and rights for both men and women. Fighting to break oppressive or disrespectful stereotypes, stigma, and expectations of women.
Feminism is bringing out other women while supporting the human race as a whole. It is fighting an underlying system of patriarchy and making a difference through actions, pulling up the oppressed and expressing ideas meant to improve the conditions of women all over the world.
When we asked students if they would consider themselves as feminists, out of 496 students at IMSA, 25.4% students defined themselves as not feminists. 55.8% students defined themselves as feminists, and 18.8% students defined themselves as other. Here are some of the responses from the students who stated other.
I support the feminist acts, but I feel like sometimes they do more harm than good, so I would not call myself one.
I would define myself as a supporter of first and second wave feminism, but I do not support some aspects of the third wave of feminism.
Yes, however, I would not associate myself with modern day feminism, which can be a bit radical.
When we asked the IMSA students if anyone on campus have ever treated them negatively because of their gender, 32.9% stated yes, which is a total of 163 people. When we asked the IMSA students if anyone off campus have ever treated them negatively because of their gender, 45.6% stated yes. Finally, we asked the students if they had anything they would like to share, suggest, or comment that regarded to their gender-related experiences on or off IMSA's campus.
Concerned with women's inequality, as well as the injustices faced by all genders and trans and non-binary identities. I'm also concerned with the legal protection for the gay panic defense and the ability to fire someone on the basis of sexuality. I'm concerned with the wage gap and how it especially affects women of color, who are also affected by inferior healthcare and other socioeconomic factors.
I think that a common gender-related experience many girls deal with are things like catcalling. I was 11 when I first experienced this, waiting alone outside my school to be picked up by my mom at night, when a boy 2 years older walked by and yelled out some comments about my body. It's happened to both me and many of my friends multiple times since then, along with some more serious experience with sexual harassment. I know a lot of people who argue that catcalling, while maybe not particularly respectful, doesn't do any damage, but I don't think that they get how scary it can be to be a teenage girl walking alone in a parking lot at night and have a middle-aged man yell something at you, or to be on a train and have a guy in his 50s put a hand on your thigh. They also probably haven't read about the college girl at UIC who didn't respond to a catcaller only for the man to follow her into a parking garage, rape, and murder her.
There's a divide in classrooms, especially STEM classes, between genders. I often feel that I cannot be wrong as often in front of my male counterparts in these classrooms, and that I have to be even better than I usually am to prove that I belong in these classes.
Being a woman is a blessing, but men can also be very cruel and make me feel unsafe. I've been catcalled, have had horns honked at me, and things like this when I go on runs. They also think they can take advantage of me and compliment my body when I don't need their validation in order to feel good about myself, because their compliments don't make me feel good about myself.